Welcome. This is the Philip Koerper Show. I'm Philip Koerper. This is episode 88, March 19, 2019. Got a lot of fun little things to cover this morning for you. Devin Nunes, the former GOP rep, actually still is a GOP rep, Devin Nunes, is suing Twitter for... It's a major lawsuit seeking $250 million in compensatory damages and $350,000 in punitive damages against Twitter and a handfuls of users on Monday. And so basically, these platforms have been safe from being sued before because they're just platforms, okay? It's like the telephone company. They're just carrying message from one point to another. And so that has kind of been the thing. But now... he is accusing them of guilty of knowingly hosting and monetizing content that is clearly abusive, hateful, and defamatory, providing both a voice and financial incentive to the defamers, thereby facilitating defamation on its platform. And so he goes on and says there are violations of the state's prohibition against insulting words, effectively fighting words that tend against violence and breach of the peace. This is ironic because the left loves this definition of hate speech. And you know what the definition of hate speech is to them, right? Anything that they don't agree with, okay? That is hate speech. That creates an aggression, a microaggression, okay? The speech is like violence, okay? And so they tend to have this huge overreaction to these things that we normally, would not overreact to. And so I love this. Twitter, Facebook, and everything, they're blocking things that conservatives make. It happens all the time in the conservative news networks that I roam around in. The Daily Wire, the Daily Caller, these other, Michael Knowles gets blocked. So anyhow, this is great. We need to push back. I wish Facebook and Twitter, I wish they would just be open platforms. This came into play with the New Zealand shooter. He was posting things online. He was doing like a Facebook live video and stuff. And there was all this uproar that Facebook was allowing this video to proceed and stuff. They cannot scrutinize everything, okay? They can't control every free speech out there throughout the whole world. Nor should I think they should try. We're all adults. We can sift through this. The shooter's manifesto has actually been taken for the internet. Michael Knowles went into great depth on that. It's interesting to study how wacko this guy was. And you can learn quickly that he's not just some pro-Trump thing. He's really trying to destroy our republic here in the United States. He picked guns because he wants us to have a big, huge gun debate that our government will fall apart because we argue over the Second Amendment. So I think information is knowledge. And we're all adults. We can look at it. We can decide what's good and what's bad. When I go to Facebook and when I go to YouTube and I look up an article on global warming, I get this little Wikipedia warning there, okay? So they handpick a little Wikipedia article that says, global warming is really a real problem. Okay, that's what Google is doing on YouTube. Of course, when I go to liberal topics or leftist topics, oh no, there's no little warnings. Okay, this is all very slanted to the left, and it's really stupid. And I wish Twitter and Facebook would not get into the news organization. If they want to be a newspaper, if they want to police and have an editor on all the content on there, okay, well then we can sue them for defamation, like Devin Nunes is doing. Okay, now they're going to have to be accountable for their content. Okay, picking left over right stuff. The most startling thing on Google after the election is when they had that Friday, thank God it's Friday. Well, it's not called Thank God It's Friday, but they had their little Friday meeting, that really top secret one that no one's supposed to know about. It's just for the employees. And they go on and on. All the leadership at Google was so devastated that Donald Trump won, and they were just shocked that he won. And they couldn't believe that anyone there at Google had voted for him. And so they just went on and on about how their outraged and basically have to do everything they can to undo Donald Trump. Okay, these are private companies. Okay, they should be free to do a lot of different things. I hate regulating a private company. Okay, but when they start moving into the field of being a publisher with editors, then they are responsible for their content. Okay, then they can be sued for defamation. So I like this, and hopefully maybe Twitter will back off and Facebook will back off, and there'll be more open platforms that we can post things there and have discussion. I don't like driving this stuff underground. I have a friend who's from Eastern Europe, and he just didn't like, we are having a conversation the other day, he did not like that John McCain was so outrageous against Donald Trump. This guy's a conservative I'm talking to. And I said, hey, it's separation of powers. John McCain was United States Senator. Donald Trump is President of the United States. Let them go at each other. That's okay. Checks and balances. And he was kind of, well, we shouldn't allow this. This is really terrible. This is treason, what John McCain was doing. And I'm like, no, I disagree. Okay, I don't think it's treason. Okay, John McCain's got his power from the Article 1 of the Constitution. Donald Trump, Article 2 powers. Let him go at it. Okay, this is the checks and balance of this government, which makes it so exciting. Funny Fox story on Elizabeth Warren, and she's insisting that her career wasn't advanced because of Native American heritage claim. Okay, why in the world did she do it then? Why in the world was she identifying as a Native American? Why would she do such a thing? For attention? Okay. We're not, is she really that dumb, or does she really think we're that dumb? This is just retarded. The three things that the left focuses on is race, gender, and class. And Elizabeth Warren was trying to play all three. She came from this poor heritage, that she was a woman, and that she was a Native American. Okay, the left just really gets a big deal out about that. Okay, they're not focused so much on merit, like MLK Jr. said. We want to be judged by our character, not by the color of our skin. Nope. The left loves this intersectional politics, and I really think it does. It's awful. It's awful. Okay. And the left turn out to be very unhappy people. They're unhappy because they're not grateful. They're not grateful for America. They hate America. They don't care that Colin Kaepernick will kneel on the American flag. It doesn't mean a thing to them. Okay, they're so ungrateful. They're so unhappy. Many of them are atheists. And they're just upset. Okay, and they're envious. They're envious of other people. And it's sad. Oh, Robert Francis O'Rourke. Oh, he continues. It looks like he's endorsing third trimester abortions. The guy shouted out, how do you feel about third semester abortions? And he said, that should be a decision the woman makes. Okay. Yeah. So when someone's pregnant, we go, oh, how's your body doing? How's that big bulge in your body doing? Wow, your stomach really looks really big. No, we don't say that. We go, how's the baby doing? We talk to pregnant ladies and we ask them how their babies are doing. That's not part of their body. It's a baby. It's a different person in there. Okay? We cannot just arbitrarily make decisions for other people. We can't just kill other people at will. Abortion is hideous. Deep down, everybody knows this. Even the atheists knows. They know how bad this is. Okay. And if you post anything on abortion, I've got a friend who does on Facebook. Oh, and Facebook will block. On my feed, they block it all. Oh, they don't want you to see this. They don't want you to see these late-term abortions. And why? Because it's hideous. They're killing little humans. It's really sad. These are real people. Very, very sad. So Beto O'Rourke, oh, don't you love it? Don't you love how his dad was a savvy politician and knew if his son's running in El Paso? Oh, Robert Francis O'Rourke, oh, that's not so great, okay? Oh, so let's use the nickname for Robert, Roberto. Oh, yeah, let's use Beto. Let's use Beto. Yeah. I mean, this is cultural appropriation to the maximus. It's just what Elizabeth Warren did. Pocahontas, look what she did. She pretended to be a Native American. She's not Native American. The Native Americans are mad at her for cultural appropriation. I can't even say that word. It's a real tongue twister for me. I mean, you would think people would be flattered when we try to do things and steal from other cultures and implement their cool things into our lives. But no, there's this mock fake offense, this microaggression. This is all just made up for political purposes. The left just uses it and weaponizes this horrendous thing against us. Their feelings, okay? Do we really care about their feelings? I mean, they're not 2-year-olds anymore, but we're adults. Are feelings that important? I mean, it's what I like how Dennis Prager says, no, it's what we do that should be important. I like what he said about, he was talking about the true church. Now, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we do believe that Jesus Christ reorganized his church on the face of the earth once again in these latter days through the prophet Joseph Smith in the early 1800s. I mean, this is a bold belief that we have, and so that our church has the power and authority of Jesus Christ. We have 12 apostles like Jesus had. So we believe that Jesus set this church up. And Dennis Prager asked himself the question, am I looking for the true religion out there? And he goes, I look at what people do. I praise churches, even though he's a Jew, he praises Christian churches like mine. He goes, I praise them from the works that they do, what they do in their lives. And if the people are doing very good lives, I praise their belief systems. And that's what Dennis Prager does. And so I really like that about we praise people for what they do. And speaking of that, Robert Francis O'Rourke is having some issues just because of his past and the stupid things that he did in his past. But he also, Britt Hume was making fun of him because it doesn't seem like he knows why he's running. Okay, I mean, what is his purpose? And voters do want someone who has compassion for running. I think this has been the huge plus for Donald Trump. You look back, he is just like Ronald Reagan with this. Look back at Donald Trump's history. He was in the media. He was a celebrity. He's got a star on the Walk of Fame or whatever it's called in Hollywood. He's got a Hollywood star. I mean, this guy is a celebrity. He was on TV a lot. He had his own TV show. And when he was talking politics, which he did for decades before he ran for president, he talks about the same thing. He talks about other countries taking advantage of the United States and the United States not making good business deals and being taken advantage of it. I mean, he is so passionate about fair trade and these things. And so when he ran for president, that was just so easy for him. He had all of this pent-up passion about what he would do as president of the United States. He made some promises, and he has fulfilled his promises. Totally amazing politician, a born-again politician. and, Ronald Reagan was the same way. He was giving those speeches for General Electric, and these were political speeches about fighting communism, about decreasing regulation, low taxes. Ronald Reagan had a passion for this, and it was easy when he became president. And it was easy to vote for him because you could tell that he really had that passion. That's really a wonderful thing about Ronald Reagan. I wanted to mention Charlie Kirk. He tweets, could you imagine if Bush spied on Obama during the transition, lied about it, weaponized the FBI, funded a fake dossier, and then entrapped war heroes for perjury traps to seek revenge for losing the election? There would be mass arrests and riots in the streets. This is really so true. And this is the double standard for people like me on the right. I get so frustrated with people on the left. This is such a double standard. No one's talking about Barry Obama with all of the James Comey, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, Michael Steele nonsense that we've been just forced to listen to. That CNN, these other news agencies are just nonstop going crazy on. We feel like this is a huge double standard. Had a friend ask me, I mean, don't you think we should go after Hillary Clinton and all the things that she did, or even Barack Obama? I go, the people have spoken. The American people have spoken. It's the court of public opinion. We got rid of HRC. She was not elected president of the United States. Okay, Americans saw through this. Yes, we could go after her, and sometimes I think we should organize another special prosecutor to investigate. Sometimes I think we should. You know why? Because the left won't stop doing this until we fight fire with fire. Okay, we need to stand up to them, and Donald does that so effectively. He's tough and he fights them. But the people have spoken. Hillary's done. And so we can move on. That reminds me of Donna. I listened to a podcast from Fox News this morning by Donna Brazil, and they've hired her to be a Fox news person, whatever. And I've seen on the internet some grumbling about this, moaning and groaning. There's moaning and groaning about Shepard Smith. Shoot, I moan and groan about Judge Napolitano. Okay, well, the reason why I don't like Judge Napolitano, because I think he's just wrong like all the time. He's always said the foot's going to drop on Donald, the very next week, and it never does. I mean, Judge Napolitano has been more wrong than like anyone I know. He's just been totally wrong. And so I don't like how Fox and Friends, they just depend on his opinion. They bring him on the show. I don't like his opinion. I wish they would bring somebody else on. I wish they would bring Michael Knowles on instead. Or Alan Dershowitz. They bring him on more. Alan Dershowitz is a liberal that really sees through this. So I just don't. So this Donna Brazil, or someone like Juan Williams on Fox, I do like having the opposing side. Okay, I like what Dennis Prager says. We don't have to convince people of things, but we can clarify issues. And Donna Brazil can come on and she can debate the liberal side of things. I'm not quite sure if Donna Brazil is a leftist or a liberal. I get a feeling she's more of a liberal. But anyhow, I'll have to look into that. So anyhow, I'm okay. Fox News can have people on, but for like someone like Shepard Smith who has his own show, Shepard Smith is leaning left a little bit, and so I'm okay with that. Sometimes I listen to NPR, but I really don't want to watch Shepard Smith, okay? Because I sometimes do. Because I want to know what the left is up to. I listen to NPR sometimes just to see what they're thinking about, what's getting in traction in their circles, okay? And when the left criticizes people on the left, oh boy, that's strong ethos there. That's a lot of credibility. So anyhow, Donna Brazil actually seems pretty articulate, and she seems pretty good at debating some issues. So I'm interested to see. We could have like the Jessica Turlov. I think these people provide, I want to hear the other side of the debate. I like the debate. I want debate. But when someone like Shepard Smith just runs his whole show, right, there's no debate there. I mean, then he's going to kind of pick and choose like the news stories that he wants to cover. Okay. And, a lot of these victimhood, envious, progressive stories are really very boring to me. I mean, that's what NPR is just over and over and over. They just go cover the people, the very few people in America who are not making progress, okay? They'll go to the poor and stuff. So sometimes that gets depressing. I sent this quote off to my friends about what Thomas Jefferson said, and we were talking about the cities. And actually, I have a friend who I was debating with about, she is from this area, but loves the left and the left coast, the West Coast, the left coast, and the East Coast. She likes the big, high-powered, educated people and thinks this gives her children much more opportunities and things like that. And I was making the argument that the internet and with this type of economy where you can, work from home and use the internet to work, all of this telecommuting, that small towns like Pikeville, Kentucky, the town that I work and live in during the week, that with the internet, there's so much opportunity here. And I was telling her how awesome it is to be away from the big leftist cities where they're so bossy and high taxes and high crime, and where socialism is just failing before our eyes. And I love this quote of Thomas Jefferson. He said, "I think our governments will remain virtuous for many centuries as long as they are chiefly agricultural. And this will be as long as there shall be vacant lands in any part of America. When they get plied upon one another in large cities as in Europe, they will become corrupt as in Europe." I think TJ was really wise beyond his years here. I think he really got that right. I wanted just to mention an Engadget article where Tesla is dropping their mid-range Model 3 battery options. Okay, so Elon Musk has really been lying to us on this car for the masses. And yet the media is just in love with Elon Musk, and they give him so much leadway. And they get, he's an American. This is an American car company. Good grief, they build the cars actually in California. And then this battery, these electric cars. Some people just fantasize that electric cars are the future and how wonderful they are. They're really so dumb. The lithium batteries are toxic. Child labor in the Congo has to mine the cobalt for these batteries. There is so much environmental damage making these cars. The carbon that needs to go into producing these cars and these very expensive batteries that wear out, that are very inefficient, very heavy. They blow up. They catch on fire spontaneously. Oh my. So anyhow, this whole idea of electric cars, I think, is really, really stupid. And unfortunately, our tax dollars are subsidizing this crazy idea. Now, if these electric cars can make it out on their own without subsidies, and you can convince people to buy them, great. But if you have to use these huge taxpayer subsidies to buy these cars, it's stupid. Okay, the whole thing about charging your car and how long it takes. And speaking of stupid, this is a Hill article from the 7th. It's a little bit old, but the headline is Anne Frank's stepsister to meet with California teens who made Nazi salute around plastic cup swastikas. These teenager girls were like bored or whatever, and they were arranging these plastic cups into a swastika, and then they were saluting. They're just, being stupid teenage girls, as teenage girls and teenage boys do. And this is what I was talking about, this microaggression. These people got super offended, and then they shame her by bringing Anne Frank's stepsister in. Okay, this is the kind of nonsense. This is the kind of stifling rhetoric. Okay, do we really want to have a police state? Okay, where people can't do and say things like 1984? Do we really want this? Okay, I think this is ridiculous. We need to let people speak. And free speech is when people are speaking things that you don't like. I want to close on a podcast that I listened to on my run this morning. It's leadingsaints.org. This is a great podcast run by Kirk Frankham. And I was listening about teaching. And in our church, a lot of us, we have a lay ministry. So lots of us are called to be teachers, Sunday school teachers, or teach other classes, the youth or primary. And so Hank Smith is he's a BYU professor, and he talks about teaching, and he uses John 4 as an example of how Christ taught. The woman at the well, she was a Samaritan and Christ was a Jew, and so these people didn't like each other, and so he doesn't just come up to her, or as she comes up to the well to fill her jugs with water, he doesn't just immediately say, "Hey, I am Jesus the Christ." No, he actually waits, okay, and he gets her attention by asking her for water. He's just sitting there and just confronts her almost, and she's kind of taken back that a Jew would be asking to interact even with a Samaritan. And so he does get her attention. And then he asked her about her husband, and she's like, well, yeah, I don't have a husband. And he's like, well, yeah, you've had 5 husbands, and you're actually living with a guy right now you're not married to. Okay. And so, she explains that, well, okay, are you, you're a prophet, yeah, you're a prophet. And then Christ reveals, and then she asks him, like, are you that prophet? It's just, yeah, she says, sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Okay. And then Jesus says unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in the mountain nor yet in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is for the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in the Spirit and the truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. The woman said unto him, I know that Messiah cometh, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Jesus said unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. So then Christ reveals that he is the prophet, that he is the Messiah, that he is the Messiah. So as we teach, we can use techniques like this where we let people, ask questions when they're ready to ask questions. We can use stories. And so I love this podcast. That's a great podcast about teaching that I think a lot of people would enjoy. And it's entitled The Art of Teaching Latter-day Saints, an interview with Hank Smith. I'll leave a link on iTunes. So anyhow, thank you so much for listening. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.